Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Meeting Gold podcast. I'm actually really thrilled. We've got a different style podcast today. Normally I wouldn't bring on what is considered competition in the Niagara area here, but me and Tomass closely became friends a little while ago, thanks to Bailey.
Yep.
Mr. Mogul of listing videos. Yep. But me and Tomass have gotten along. We kind of do the same style of videos. Well, we've got our own creative styles, but we do the same idea, more branding side. We'll still do listing stuff. And we're pretty well in the same area of our business because we both started like a year.
Yep.
Well, we've been doing video for a while, right? But like, professionally, I guess for a year and a half a bit. But we'll get into everything of us starting our business primarily because I think that a lot of people are creatives. They don't know how to start a business. Sure. Whereas I think we took after the business side, which is why we were able to create a business out of just creating videos for people, right? Yep. So Tomass, welcome to the show, brother. TDrone Media. If anybody's looking to hire a fantastic creative guy that gives you all of the direction possible, TDrone Media here in Niagara, make sure to reach out to him. Where can people reach you?
Just through my Instagram right now, Facebook, and then
at TDrone Media, baby. TDrone Media. I love it. Where'd the name come from,
buddy? That's actually hilarious. So
no,
that's what starts my media journey. So I hadn't picked up any sort of camera other than my GoPro. So my wife and I, we love to go on trips. So as soon as we got married, like we made it a priority, like going on trips and whatnot. So picked up a GoPro just to kind of capture the moments, like. Nothing crazy, like looking back at my videos, they were so horrible, like just so bad, but like I was loving every moment. But then I wanted a drone for Christmas just to, for our vacations. COVID happened, got the drone. A lot of my wife's family lives out in the States, so I wanted a way to kind of connect with people and not flood my own Instagram page. So I literally made, as a joke, TDrone Media account.
Well, are you serious?
It was a joke.
It wasn't even serious.
It wasn't serious. Just to post content so I didn't flood my own page so like my own friends didn't hate me.
Yeah, like so, I know what you mean because like you never want to post like every day on your personal.
Exactly.
I've been guilty of that.
Oh, I've done it. That's why I was like, I'm getting like 5 views because everyone's like muted me already. So right. So I made that account, started making videos for fun, like hockey videos, like of me and my buddies over COVID, like skating and just random things. And then I actually had a realtor in Niagara reach out.
Oh, they reached out to you. So this is your first client story.
First client.
Wow.
So reached out to me. His name's Spencer DeWolf. Great guy. He's with Masterson Realty. And he's like, hey, do you do real estate? I'm like, absolutely not, but I'll try it. So the first one obviously charged absolutely nothing.
Yeah. The number one rule. Like some people think that they're worth I don't know, the $500 that it is for a listing shoot right out the gate, right?
Exactly.
You're not,
you gotta earn
right?
That.
Oh, yeah. Big time, right? Yeah. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Yeah, so I was so nervous. I'm like, my wife's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to try it. Like, we'll see what happens. I'm not doing anything else. It's COVID right now.
Yeah. Hold on, pause. Yeah. Let's pause the story for a second. Were you working?
So I was bartending, so I'm still in school. So I was bartending at the time. COVID happened. No bars were open. So I was literally doing like nothing but school.
Oh, geez. And where were you? What were you going for school?
So I still am. I'm currently in it. It's osteopathy. So it's an osteopathic manual practitioner.
You just spoke Chinese to me.
Yeah. So in a sense, it's similar to like a chiropractor in a sense.
Oh, no way. So is video your long-term goal or something like it?
Video wasn't any goal for me. That's the thing. So now it's turned into a job that people talk about how do what you love. That's what it's turned into me.
Oh, fantastic.
For me, right?
Yeah.
So it's been great because it's like a creative outlet for me, right? Like it's a way to show myself without having to show it, like being behind the camera and being behind the computer and being able to show your creative side when people not even knowing sometimes who you are.
Right.
And just what's coming out of you is what's pretty cool to me.
Yeah.
Like they're like, oh, that video is so cool. And you can sit on the sidelines. You can be behind somebody. They don't not even know who you are. You're like, awesome.
They're like, this videographer must have done a good job.
Yeah.
That's the goal. You see on like TikTok, you see like the coolest videos ever of like sports and stuff like that. And then you'll see like in the comments, damn, this videographer was good. Like, wow, that was, you know what I mean? Yeah. So when you get that, it's pretty powerful. So Absolutely. Your first client story. So how did the shoot go? You didn't charge anything, which is something
charged nothing. I charged absolutely nothing. I was like YouTubing like drone shots and like I got good with the drone because I was just on it every day. I was logging like 3 hours. I'd charge my batteries, go back out, charge my batteries. So I had pretty smooth movements for what I think is like the first time.
Yeah.
But it was just like crazy. I flew my drone straight through this garage, like my Mavic drone through this garage. And the realtor was all for it. Spencer's like, absolutely, like, do what you want. So
do what you got to do.
Just sent it. So it opened up both sides. So I sent it straight through, like came out from like the starting of the street, flew it straight through. Actually it ended up getting some good shots and it worked out. He's like, hey, so do you have a camera? I'm like,
no,
I got a drone.
Did you not have a camera?
I had nothing, man.
Really? You just had a drone.
I had a drone. So
he just got you to shoot the drone of the property.
Yep.
Wow. And normally they don't do that. So that's kind of luck of the draw.
Literally.
Because normally they're like, they want full service, right?
Yep, exactly.
Wow, that's fascinating. So your camera story.
Yep.
Tell us, like, what kind of camera did you buy?
Oh my goodness. So now I'm on the struggle bus. I'm like, is this something? Is it not something? I'm talking to my wife. She's like, I have no idea. Like,
before you spend thousands of dollars on a camera. Yeah.
Exactly. Especially COVID, like thousands of dollars in COVID. You're like, when's COVID gonna end? When am I gonna work again?
Yeah.
So ended up just literally diving in. I knew I didn't want to go cheap. I knew I didn't want to go because camera equipment you can always resell, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not going cheap. I need to do this right the first time and that's it, right? So I started contacting a bunch of like media gladiators that I'm friends with. So I contacted like the Reese Fishers of Instillment. I contacted like Dave Tebbett of like the wedding world. I've contacted like Bailey Robus of Drone Hub, right? Just reaching, and all these guys were huge for me just to like help out. And it's kind of that alone was nice to see, just like guys willing to give their time, even though they're in the same field, like we talked about, but willing to give their time because they've been through those things and understand how it is like starting that business. Right?
Exactly.
So I reached out to them about all the equipment, like lav mics, everything, all these things I had no idea how to do, what to work.
Because this was just a passion project. You really had no clue.
I edited my first thing on my phone. That first drone video I edited on my phone.
Wait, for Spencer?
Yep.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Oh my God.
First one was on my phone. I had my computer, my laptop couldn't handle Premiere Pro. It was like, I tried it once. My computer fried. It literally just like, I heard a fan start for a second and then just went blank. I was like, okay, I think it's time to invest.
Yeah.
So after that, got the whole Mac desktop, everything, invested into the money. I went with the Lumix GH5. So I asked Bailey about the camera because I knew real estate was the angle I wanted to go with. And
right. So did you buy that Lumix because Bailey? Because I know Bailey uses GH5.
Yeah. So I contacted him. Because my angle was always like real estate. I wasn't thinking of going anywhere else with it. It's like, this is a time where I can probably make some money off of real estate. And it's something,
the market was booming.
For sure.
I'll be honest, for starting a real estate videography business, we exponentially grew pretty easily because the market boomed.
Yep.
Prices were able to raise. Demand was super high, still is, right? That's kind of been, that's like, I even say for any videographer's growth, I think we kind of hit the nail on the head. It was like a blessing in disguise that we got in at the time that we did. Would it have been nice to start earlier? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But we definitely, we should probably we'll go over that.
Yeah.
Learning lessons.
Yeah.
I remember I had one that was like pretty tough, but can you tell us a little bit about like transitioning now, getting from your first client to actually just like growing?
Yeah. So what I started doing was I started like not cold calling, but like messaging realtors because I was like
DMing.
DMing. So I was so excited about it. And then like the response wasn't that great because I don't have like content yet. So it was like, man, I gotta get houses to get more houses, right? Like you got to show what you can do. So I was cold calling a bunch of them and still trying to figure out pricing because that was a nightmare for me. I'm like,
pricing was hard, man. I was in the same boat.
Yeah.
You never and you wouldn't ask, Bailey at the time because we didn't know him. We wouldn't ask like, what do you charge?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Bailey charges like he's more the premium side of listing packages, right? And it's like, who do you? You know what I mean? Like it's like deciding your prices, and then nobody's ever no real estate agent's ever going to tell you that you're charging too little.
I know. Exactly. Everyone's trying to make money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, for sure. So I was just trying to figure all those things out, and I was cold calling and doing all these things. And then I reached out to Jordan Coons, who you know.
Yeah.
Great guy, great realtor. And that is kind of what launched everything. Like Spencer started me off but Jordan was kind of like what launched me into it, because he got like 4 or 5 houses right off the bat.
Really, eh?
So I kept we kept in contact, like me and Jordan, and I was always like, hey man, like if you need content, like let me know. Like I'd even like to start just filming with you, like for your social media, whatever. And he was like, at the time his one buddy was doing some stuff. He's like, oh, I don't know yet. And then I finally ended up getting a house with him, and then it just went from there. It was like house after house.
Did you shoot, I'm going to ask some like really specific questions for some new videographers that might know, but did you shoot HDR photography right away?
I did, yes.
You did? Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so I went a YouTube rabbit hole, buddy. I didn't know how to use an editing software. I didn't know how to do anything. So
all you heard was HDR for photos, video, maybe different color profile.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, for me, it was a little bit different. I started, I remember, like, I'll give you my first client story. I was doing like businesses at the time, and I had 2 clients. First of all, I had a church, which I was editing their sermons because of COVID. And then I had a great guy, Peter Earl from Hallie's Fashion for Men, who is one of the most well-connected individuals. He was the youngest VP of DeFasco back in the day. Wow. Like, I'm not even joking. Like,
That's
like,
huge.
he's massive, right? But he had his passion project is Hallie's, right? Fashion. He loves it. So what does a guy do who has a great pension plan from, what does a guy do?
Yeah.
He needs a passion project. He's going to put it into something that he loves. And I admire Peter for that. And he contacted me through when I signed up for a summer company program for like $3,000 over the summer. Yeah. And then I had 2 clients, did a website for Peter, was just editing the church stuff. And then I had a friend who I'm like, I need to make more money. I wasn't making anything. Like I was barely making anything. And then I had a friend who said like, hey, you should really try real estate. Like really try it. Yeah. I was like, no. And she was like, I would do it. So I said, okay, fine. So like 3 weeks later after I'm like, okay, I got nothing left to try. Yeah. Literally, because you're trying all these, like, you're trying podcasts, you're trying, these like social graphic posts that it's like 43% of people don't use marketers, and like that kind of stuff. Like you're just posting pictures from Canva. Yeah. Doesn't work at all. Yeah. But it's like you had to learn, right? You had to. So for me, it was like I was posting all that kind of stuff. Nothing was working. I'm like, okay, I'll just try real estate. Yeah. So I worked up the balls to cold call agents in the area. I started off by DMing some. Yep. I still have to this day. Last year in April was when I started DMing people. So literally, like when this podcast launches will be the 1 year of when I started. Cool. And I was DMing. I have like all of these, like on LinkedIn, I was DMing people, on Instagram. I remember DMing you. I DM'd you in April of last year. And I was like, hey man, like I see what you're doing. Clients? Yeah. How do you get clients? Yeah. I had no idea. Right. And I remember I DM'd an agent, and I saw that she wasn't really doing any like social media. So what I did was I went on Google, I looked up nice luxury homes, took those pictures, put them in Canva graphics, and then made like example graphics with the photos for her to post. Cool. So, and then I actually went as far as went on her MLS, her listings, took those pictures, made them into graphics, and then DM'd her and sent them to her right out the gate. I didn't even say, hey, if you're interested, I can send them to you. I said, hey, this is what I created for you. I'm offering 3 weeks of free services, da-da-da. It was Tracy Phelan. Tracy's still my client to this day, just like your story with Spencer. Just an amazing person that gave you a shot right out the gate. You owe them a lot, awesome. Right? And Tracy was like, well, the 3 weeks of free services sounds great to me. I was laughing. So I cold called her. I recorded it. Thank God I recorded it because I have it all recorded. And I can look back on it, right? It's a good memory. Awesome. And she was like, yeah, sure. So she invited me to her first listing. I completely did not it was horrible. Did not shoot HDR photography. Guess what I was shooting with? Like what lens? A 28 mil. Imagine shooting with a 28 mil. And guess what? The house was like 1,500 square feet.
So you get your crop in the whole way. It's
so for anybody that doesn't understand, take a living room or take like the studio that we're in and this wide angle here. If Brianna can showcase the wide angle, imagine it only shows like the table. That's how zoomed in it was. Okay. So it was not the right way, but Tracy gave me a shot.
And you were sweating though. Were you sweating when you got there?
I was.
Oh yeah.
Dude, remember I was 17. My mom dropped me off at the shoot.
And that feeling when it hits you, you're like, oh no, I'm here now.
Yeah,
like figure it out.
Like, what do I do? Do I knock on the door? Do I just now? You know, me and you, we just walk up to the door.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? I've walked in one wrong address. That was ugly. So that's a story for another time, bro. That was horrible. Almost got the shit kicked out of me. But
hey guys, this happened. Not this house.
Not this house. And the guy told me to go to the back too. The guy that called me, he's like, yeah, just come to the back. And I was at the wrong house. I went to the back. The guy was in his garage. He's like, excuse me. I was like, yeah, are you Jason? The guy's name was Jason. The seller was Jason as well.
Buddy, that's insane.
I know.
I'll
tell the whole story another time because
sure.
it makes me like it makes me so like trippy.
Oh, for
I was like, I butterflies in my stomach. I thought I was gonna get the shit kicked out of me. To be honest.
Oh man, that happened to me too with Kunza. It was like a lockbox scenario, and it was a newer subdivision, and then there was a newer subdivision in the subdivision. So they both had the address 17, but they were like townhomes. So and he's like, hey man, like the lockbox, it's on the gas pipe on the side. This house had a lockbox and the gas pipe on the side. I'm like, man, I can't get in the code. Like it's not working. I'm like, is this the right house? Like there's Amazon box in the front porch. Like it's making no sense. He's like, that's the house. Like that's the house. I'm like, just getting angry now. I'm like, man, it's not working. I'm on FaceTime with him. Like, here's the code. He's like, okay, well, let me call. Dude, turns out that house directly behind is 17 too. It's on the same street somehow. And like were for sale and both had a lockbox on the gas pipe.
You know what? I was like, anybody who does as many shoots as we do, you get the one story where it's like, yeah, that you just got to laugh about. But if you played it wrong, you could have gotten like absolutely ruined. Like, people would be pissed. Yeah. But no, like I even remember with Tracy, she still gave me a chance. And then I had my second client ever was Vanessa Moore, who's amazing. She's still a client to this day. And my friend was selling their house. Vanessa was the realtor selling the house, and Vanessa's photographer got COVID. So the seller was kind enough to mention me. Vanessa said, okay, sure, I'll have to use them because I don't have anybody else. Calls me, give her the price. Yeah, I won't even tell the price because it was like dirt cheap. I think it was like $150.
She's like,
I think it was like $150 for like everything. I spent like 3 hours there and then like 5 hours editing. And like I remember going there and like really focusing on trying to do a good job, and still only had a 28, but this house was a little bit bigger, so it's a little bit nicer. But it just goes to show you can get business, and I think I said this before, but you can get business without understanding cameras. For sure. You don't have to understand everything. For sure. Right? Like you can have the worst quality, but still somehow get business. Now, would it be harder? I feel bad for the person that, uses you, but you learn. Yep, right? For sure. So for you, what were some of the challenges? Like I have so many stories, but there's one that in particular I could say right now that was the most humbling learning experience that I ever had. Do you have one thing that was like you completely ruined a video, had to reshoot it or something like that? You lost the footage or anything?
It's happened a bunch to me with audio and stuff like that. Like
that's my story.
Even when my lav is plugged in, but then it's the other one's not on, or if I'm shooting the way my camera settings are, if I'm shooting in 60 frames in my custom settings, it takes no audio.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So I set it up custom like that so I can go on the fly. So I got like 24, 60, and 120. So I just click it, switch it. That's it.
Really, eh?
If I shoot in like my manual camera, it's usually set to 24 with like aperture priority set to 24. That's how I'll normally film for like that first interview with the realtor, like their intro, outro. Yeah. But if I don't click it over, if I'm in 60 frames, which I normally shoot every home in, it's a nightmare. Yeah. So it's happened once, and I'm like, you're just sick to your stomach, and you're like,
wait. So did you film a home at 24?
I filmed a home in 24 before. Realized when I do the last shot, and then I've had to go back and do the whole house, top to bottom again. Yeah,
because you for anybody that doesn't get it, okay, 24. We're gonna give a camera lesson
100%,
here.
100%.
24 frames per second. Your eye sees a moving picture. It looks like a movie when a picture is 24 times in 1 second. So like, imagine Walt Disney was drawing Mickey Mouse. Yep. He had to draw 24, and I think he was the one that actually realized this to make a moving picture. Yep. But he had to draw 24 pictures in 1 second to make it look like something was moving smoothly, right? And that still has a little bit of motion blur.
For sure.
But it looks, it's like what your eye sees. That's the most
It's like normal
appealing.
to your eye.
Yeah, it's most appealing, right? So when we say 24 frames per second filmed on a camera, that basically means that if you slow it or try to slow that footage down, it'll stretch those frames so you're only seeing like 15 frames in 1 second, which would mean it goes chop, chop, chop. So that's like you'll know an amateur videographer right out the gate when they edit drone footage.
Yes.
And because most drones, they'll film at 30. Like my Air 2S films 30 frames per second. So it's a little bit faster than 24. But you can only slow it down like 90, 80%. Exactly. Then you got to add optical flow. And it's like whatever. But even when you slow it down more or you put it in 60 frames, it's zoomed in. A lot of people will slow down the drone footage and it'll be choppy. And they don't do anything to fix it. Like you could add optical flow. I know Final Cut Pro, for you, Premiere probably has it. You can add optical flow and it'll literally kind of smoothen the image. It's guessing the frames though, so it's not as good.
Yeah, for sure.
But when we say 24 and you shoot a house in 24, that basically means that Tomass went around the entire home, took all the slow motion, buttery shots, but not in slow motion. So he basically screwed himself, if that makes sense. And he couldn't slow it down, so he had to adjust it to go to 60 frames so he can slow down the 60 frames per second into make it look like it's 24 but slowed down. I think I did a good job at explaining that. So I would say... yeah, that is probably, I don't think I've ever done that. I remember I did filmed a video for literally the top 5 agent in North America. And I think I told you who it was. So I won't say on camera, but I told you who it was, and put the lapel mic under their tie. Under their tie.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. Tie was the whole video.
And you wouldn't think it would do that.
Nope. Did you start listening to your audio while recording right out the gate? Like, did you know to do that? Because I didn't.
I didn't, no.
Okay, see, so the way that I learned to do that, not even joking, is by screwing up this video. With the audio. And I'm like, oh my gosh. From now on, I'm always listening to the audio. So now, for anybody that anybody that's going on a shoot and has to film audio, you must always listen to the audio live. I think that's number one.
If you could understand the mistakes we made and not make them, that would save you so much time. It's not even funny.
I remember another time, like I think we can honestly just talk about some of the mistakes that we've made, so so people listening don't make them, because I always say like learn as you go. But like I remember like Devin recording for us behind the cameras. I remember telling Devin, like, Dev, I wish you all the best if you want to learn as you go. But it's extremely hard. You have to be able to take a lot of dump and crap from people because like a lot of people don't give you chances. I was blessed enough, like Tracy and Vanessa, who were my first 2 clients. And then my third ever was Koken, who's a YouTuber, who was a big catch for me because he's still to this day, we do a lot of work together. But like they gave me a lot of chances, but people, who are not as chance giving, they're going to say goodbye right out the first time. And the other thing you have to understand is when you go to listing shoots or when you're shooting for people, you are representing their entire brand, not just off camera. I've had this conversation with even my team. You don't wear sweats when my client comes and is wearing a suit on an interview video. You don't wear sweats and a crew neck. Right? Because it doesn't matter that you're behind the camera. It matters the brand representation that we show as a company and that what they expect. Because from everything from your shoes to what you wear to the cameras and the setup that you have, yes, looks matter. Right?
Sure, absolutely.
Was that kind of a value for you when you started your business? Like, I'm going to dress well, I'm going to show up even a little bit earlier, start drone earlier, whatever it was?
Yeah, the drone was always the biggest thing to get that up in the air, like before, just so I had, because it took me time at the beginning. I didn't have any timing down. I didn't have any flow yet. Like, it was like I was just kind of scrambling and making it up as I went. Like, that was like the biggest thing. It was like, I need to figure out a rhythm here. Because even when you're doing drone, like, people don't think about it. It's like, you have to take the video, then you have to take the photo. So it's like you're in the same spots, but you don't want to mess up the flow of your shots of like an orbit or whatever you're doing. And then you have to go back to that same spot, take the photo again. So it's just like there's so many things that you have to find out, like figure out for your workflow just to make it. And like now, obviously, I have it down pat, but like starting out was just like
it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare in the sense that you don't know what you had to do. I think we developed a good routine now. Like we could go to a listing shoot and just boom, 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 get it done. You know, when it comes down to the more creative stuff, I think you develop this sense of like, we'll use your horse video for an example. Like, I'm sure you didn't shot plan that per shot.
No.
I bet you went, you knew, had an idea, you knew the music, you knew the vibe, but then on the fly, you were able to put the video together in your head.
Yes.
Anybody listening, you don't have to do that right away. Like, you don't have to know how to put the video together. Like, even when we talk to Bailey, Bailey's able to look at a house, listen to a song, and know what shots he's going to start with.
For sure.
Everything, right? And that just comes with experience, like knowing, showing up, going quicker, being more efficient. It's super simple, super easy. But starting out, like, we have our stories. We've been at houses for 3-4 hours sometimes.
For sure.
And, you know, even like conversation with real estate agents, I'll get caught talking with realtors instead of, you know, actually shooting.
Exactly.
Which is good, but you have to learn how to balance. Maybe you shoot while you talk. Maybe while the photo's being taken, you quick look back at them, you say something, you know, something like that. So Tomass, for you, what's life like right now? What are some of your biggest challenges running your company, as well as some of the coolest shoots maybe you've done, or some of the things that you're most proud of?
So challenges right now is probably trying to find a team, right? Like we talked about this before, but like trying to find people that you trust to share the same passion as you when you're creating. It's tough to find that same passion. Like, you can hire somebody to edit, but it's not having that same creativity put into it like you have.
It's all in editing. Yeah.
It's it, right? So like I learned that pretty quick. So Josh Perry is kind of the guy, the realtor that pushed me in the direction of more creative content, because he wanted, like, he wasn't the houses right off the bat like Jordan Coons was. He was, let's pump out content, let's get it out there and like let it do its work, right?
Yeah, like social media branding.
Yes. So we did a ton of that. So that put me down a different avenue to actually start getting out in a creative side, which was great because I started learning so many more things about the creative side of shooting. And then I pulled that into everything else. So like challenges now, I would just say is definitely finding a team that shares the same passion, because it's your business, it's your baby. It's you've created from the ground up, right? You know everything there is to know about your craft. Obviously we can always learn more, but at this point in time. So finding somebody that shares that same drive to every little detail, like even when I'm shooting, like just to even trust like a photographer, videographer to make sure the toilet seat's down, little things like clear off the countertops, like do whatever it takes to make that shot look as clean as you can. Obviously not every home can look that way. And not everyone has a cleaner come in and stuff like that, but just doing the little things that can clear those areas, like Joe Schmo that you hire. He's like, sick, I'm getting paid, like let's film.
I know. And I see like a lot of somebody on this podcast said to me, you know, you're not, there's a reason you're not able to find another you in the business. Cause I remember I made a comment. I was like, I just want to find another me.
I know.
And because if I had another me, we'd be destroying it. But another me wouldn't work for me.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So you have to, you know what I mean?
Yep.
When somebody said that to me, I was like, wow. So I just got to stop expecting people to be at my level. Let them excel in where they're best at. And if it means you got to hire 2 people, it is what it is. It is what it is, For us, we've been finding like we've kind of shifted more into the branding side. So like for us, it's a lot of podcasts. We did our most listing shoots this month. I think we did 10. We don't do a ton of listing shoots. It's more branding side. And for us, like that allows us to be a little bit more creative. But at the same time, some of our challenges is like, one, maintaining profitability just from a business perspective of making sure the client's happy. You know, when it comes down to branding, it's hard because a lot of people want to start, they're just starting out, they want to start doing branding, but they don't have the funds to do it. So how do you support them? Because guys like me and you, we generally want to help somebody build their brand. We love it, right? It's fun. And when I have all these fun ideas and all these connections, we can do it. But mate, you got to still be profitable. Like if you're not profitable, you're not a business, you're a hobby and you're a passion. And if you chase just the hobby side, your business won't work.
For sure.
It won't work, right? Money runs the world, unfortunately. It is what it is. You have to maintain that. And so for us, it's like, how do we maintain profitability while still making our clients happy? You know, and I think we've kind of found a happy balance between like building connections and, you know, shooting some stuff like we'll do like vlogs. So like, for example, a good friend of mine, we're shooting a Merrittville Speedway race, the home opener, and it's going to be exciting. And we're going to put that into like a vlog so we can do it for free. So we can market it as well for ourselves, right? Something like that. Or even just for agents, like, hey, if you can do this for me, you know, if you can like, and the other thing too is like referrals. So for you, you know, a lot of the business comes down to relationships and respect. For sure. I think, you know, we work so hard to develop these relationships with these real estate agents or these business owners or whatever it looks like. How do we maintain those relationships? And like for us, and I'll let you comment on this, is like finding, like if they give you referrals, what do you do to treat them back?
When you're trying to help somebody out, if you just have somebody that's coming up to you, doesn't want to post
hey,
anything
let's start
themselves.
a YouTube. Yeah, like let's start a YouTube channel together. Yes. I'll make sure to say your name and da-da-da-da-da.
Exactly.
My favorite thing is like when, and I don't say this to be mean or rude or anything. It's just one of the biggest things is like when I'm on a call and, you know, they're like, yeah, we're just looking for this. It's honestly not anything crazy. Just show up, 10 minutes, this. Listen, you've heard the same thing. That's why you're laughing. I know.
Yeah, you're like, hey, I got to pack up my gear. I got to get in my car. I got to drive there. I got to unpack my gear, level my gimbal, get my drone out, recalibrate my drone, put it up. Like, it's just like, that's time.
And you know, I wouldn't tell somebody like, hey, you just have to, like, I remember actually I ordered 3D drawings for a studio that we're launching in May. And I remember saying to the guy, you know what you're doing. You just tell me what you're going to cost. And that's fine. It wasn't cheap. 2 pictures, it was like $1,100. Yeah. 2 pictures of the studio. But you know what? They are the 2 best pictures I've ever looked at in terms of rendering. Yeah. Because money will reward somebody 100%. To do something better, right? Like if you want a discount on a job, the way that I look at it is if you want a discount on a job, okay, but don't expect to get my 100% effort, right? Because I have to prioritize my business, right? Like we said, it's not a hobby anymore. It's a business. You're a company. You're incorporated, right? Exactly. So how do you prioritize what's in front of you, right? What is it like for you, like your editing process? What are some things that you do to be a little bit more efficient? Because I know like you'll have like a listing shoot that needs to be done in 24 hours. Then you'll have a branding shoot that you could maybe push a little bit, and then, like managing those projects as like, I would even still consider us like, I have editors, but you know, like a 1 maybe to 3 person team of like really consistent people that help me with client stuff. But for you, like, what's that like, Tomas?
So I love creative projects, as you do as well. It's why we started this. It's why we're doing it. Creative projects, I try and get on as fast as possible. I remember talking to like Dave Tebbett one time, and he's saying like how he does it, like he goes home and edits right away because he's in that moment. Mm-hmm. And being in that moment, even whatever it is, like some people don't see it the way we see it, but like even if I'm filming for a gym like Athlete Farm Niagara, I'm in the moment of understanding like that hustle, that drive, and like songs are already going on in your head and shots are going on in your head, and I want to get home instantly and just edit that. So even if I can get home quick, whether it's editing 5 photos that I did or just slicing up some clips just to understand that moment that I was in is key for me going into it.
Like to get the best.
Yes, to get the best. So I normally, if it's a branding thing, I'll go home and just touch on it right away, just so I remember the feel, just so I know what I'm doing, even if I get a song, because that song will then translate into what I was already thinking, right? In terms of real estate, I try and get the photos done quickly. Like I tell every realtor, like, you'll have the photos by the time you wake up. And they're like, what, really? I'm like, yeah, you'll have them by the time you wake up.
Because you just want to get them out. Yeah.
I want to get them out. But then it also gives me a feel again for the home, what I want to kind of highlight in that home as I'm doing that. So it's like I'm already pre-doing my video by looking at the photos and editing the photos. And it's just a quick job from there after that.
Yeah.
So it's understanding. So that's my layout. Branding shoots, I'll try and get home, get a touch on them right away. And then real estate, I'll do the photos right away, get a feel for the house again. And then I'll go into the video after that.
I want to give a good point for any new like videographers listening. I want to get it out of you is if you could go back and get like what you know now, because you know way more now in terms of the quality that you have to offer, the how to get clients. Because now I honestly think like getting clients, that's not our concern anymore. Yep. We've got the portfolio. We've got the relationships. We could get referrals. We could reach out, whatever, right? It's now managing those clients. Yep. But for somebody starting out, they don't have to worry about managing clients, right? You know, if you've got 7 to 10 shoots a week, you got to manage. It's not about getting more. It's just about managing what you got before you try to get more. So for you, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently in starting your business? What would you focus on? How would you have gotten clients? Because I feel like everybody thinks it's so hard to get clients. You know, you say get clients. No, it's easy to build relationships. Let me rephrase that. It's easy to build the relationships. Like, look at you and Jordan Coons. You guys are great friends, right? Like, Jordan would never use anybody else ever, unless you know, moved out to Florida or something, right? He would never use anybody else. How do you build that? Like, and now understanding that you built that, how would you build that starting out?
Yeah. So that's like a trust game. That's what I was saying about how it's like a give and take. Like, I know Jordan hustles and that kid does his best to be as good as he is at the craft, right? And you can see that in people. So that makes me want to try even harder. That makes, like, even with the Josh Perry, like, we're up sometimes 1, 2 in the morning throwing back creative ideas. And that's a realtor. Like, he's constantly coming up with ideas. I'm constantly coming up with ideas, and we're just sending it back and forth. Like, hey man, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? So it's like, even with like Jordan Coons, like, we just have the same drive to be better and bring out new and cool things, right? So it's just exciting. So starting out like that, going back to your point of like what would I change? I would not distract myself with things I shouldn't be in. So that's like certain avenues. I went down a rabbit hole of After Effects, which that is like...
Oh, I tried that motion VFX for me because I'm a Final Cut Pro guy. Oh.
Yeah, I'm seeing like Reese Fisher's things and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's like, this guy's disgusting.
It's
like,
so
how
cool.
do I do this?
Yeah.
Dude, I tried to do like an animation on my logo and I spent, I'm not kidding, like 2 days. And it was like, and I said to Reese, and I thought it was sick, and Reese is probably like, this is embarrassing. Like, but he would never say that because he's such a good guy. But like, that's like, I wouldn't waste my times in avenues that I shouldn't have been in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
That is the biggest thing. If I would have just focused right in on just straight Premiere Pro, like every time I'm making videos now, I will try and make every video better than the last. That's my goal. And that keeps me motivated to keep going. Even when you have like a regular house or you have like a house that's not as nice in real estate, what can I do to make this next shot or next transition or anything smoother, anything better? So that's what keeps me going in order to try and make things better. But yeah, in respect to what I would change, it would be the wrong avenues. Just stick to one thing, be really good at it, move to the next after that is what I would say.
I remember, and like, actually looking back, I would probably, now that you said that, I would probably say the same thing, because I remember when I was trying to get clients, you know that term. I was trying to do like freelancing, right? So I was trying to like Fiverr and Upwork and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So I was trying that, and what I was finding was when I would go on Fiverr or whatever, I would spend time looking at other videographers, how they posted, that kind of thing. So I was educating myself. Would I have rather just spent that time just literally constantly DMing agents and calling and way more? Should have done that. Just didn't have the guts to at the time. Didn't cold call. I wish I did. But you know, I would look back and I was creating these like Fiverr, like back when it was Mealy Media, this. Like it was kind of a waste of time if I look at it. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that it was a waste of time in the sense that I knew it taught me what not to spend time in because it didn't work.
So you're always learning, right? It's like overcoming adversity, right? Like you're always building. I told my hockey team this, but like no smooth sea has ever made a skilled mariner. So each moment in your life that you've learned something from, you've grown from, right?
Yeah.
So that's why if we could help somebody start a media business tomorrow and have them up and running in a month, because
honestly, hey man, that'd be a fun passion project. I'll be honest. Like it's to help. Here's the biggest thing is you've got to, I was talking to Devin about this. You just got to get it.
Yes.
There's two types of people in the world. It's either the people that don't get it or the people that do get it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's the people that get it are the ones that understand you show up properly dressed, right? You show up 10 minutes early. You shake the guy's hand. You talk to the sellers. You mention how nice of a home they have, no matter what it is, or you find something in their home that's stunning. You know, you afterwards, you ask them questions about their business. You make a comment, hey, keeping busy. Every single time I answer the phone, say, what are you up to, man? Keeping busy or what? I think I even said that to you when you came in, right? Show that you care.
Exactly.
And that sparks conversation. It's actually funny. Me and Devin were shooting a podcast yesterday, and it was a new client. I asked the client, you know, so tell me again, what exactly is it that you do? 30 minutes we were talking in between our shoot. We paused, 30 minutes we were talking. I loved it. That relationship, even closer now, right? It's like actually caring for somebody in no matter what avenue they do, no matter what industry they're in, genuinely asking like, how's it going? You know, when I send out an invoice for the end of the month, I'll say, hey man, hope the project did this the other day. Hope that Crystal Beach property is going well. Like I saw on your stories, you had some issues with it. Let me know if you need any help or anything. Like happy, if you want to ask any questions, feel free to, like whatever it is. Right. So for me, it's like, allow people the comfortability to talk about anything with you.
Yes.
Be friends with them, you know?
Yeah, I think another thing is having honest friends helps you build. Not necessarily the people that are trying to tear you down, but in certain instances, like when I've sent like my videos, like starting out and stuff like that, and I still send videos to my guys that have been in media forever. Hey man, what do you think? Yeah,
you sent me the gym one, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do you think? Like, what should I change? And like the honesty. They're not trying to tear you down. Like if you know the guy, he's not trying to tear you down. Even when I've sent stuff to Jordan Coons, he's like, honestly, man, I don't like it. So I'm like, perfect. Like, what do we change?
Yeah.
What do you want to change?
Yeah.
To not say anything is like honestly more insulting than to just be like, oh yeah, it's great. And then like, oh man, that was horrible. Right?
And that's the biggest thing I would say is like, I remember I would send, even to this day, like, when we just started like the vlog channel, right? For my personal stuff. We did like the what's in the box. We did like MMA vlog. We're doing all this kind of stuff. And I had asked, I sent it over to some of my friends who are like my age group, right? 18, 19, 20. And I said like, hey, check it out. They said it didn't feel like one of your old videos. Cause I used to do YouTube back in grade 9. It was super cringy. Said it did not feel like one of your old videos. It felt like this like actual YouTuber. That was the biggest compliment I think I've received like in a while. Like imagine to be told like your video reminded them of like a Logan Paul style video or like some sort of like Sidemen challenge or that's a huge compliment. Right. And so like you said, sending stuff out. The other big thing is like recently I've started to get closer. I think thanks to the strategies that we've used, like in terms of like doing the vlogs with clients and stuff like that, we've kind of built friends with some of our longer term clients. Like Tracy, I'm great friends with. Vanessa, I'm great friends with. Chris, my YouTuber car guy, like amazing friends. He'll watch. Actually, he's one of my biggest supporters. He'll watch like all these podcasts on like media and stuff like that. You know, like building that relationship. I remember like even Andrew Perry, like I met Andrew, 9 months ago when he was the first guest on my podcast. I didn't even know the guy. And now he gives me completely honest opinions. I remember having a conversation with him. He's like, yeah, I like this guy because they do this. I like you because you do this, but I find that you don't do this. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Like it's actually like, I couldn't even pay for that advice.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like an honest opinion. And that makes you a 10 times better videographer, editor, just creative person in general. So Tomass, as we kind of wrap up, where do you see you utilizing your creative ability in the next maybe like 5-10 years? Like, do you have any ideas of where you want to utilize it? Like you said, you're going to school for being a chiropractor. Do you want to do like your own marketing stuff there? Do you want to continue with just doing real estate shoots? What does it look like for you?
So real estate shoots are, they pay the bills. In terms of like creative projects is where I lie. Having a chance now to work with like the Best Western and Doc McGilligan's and like golf lounges and different gyms has opened my eyes up to the passion that started it in the first place, which was travel for me.
Yeah. Not just real estate.
Real estate. So, you can say whatever you want. If you're saying you love real estate, you're lying because if you get the right home with the right things happening and you come into a unique home, you're like, oh man, I have so many ideas for this. It's so cool. And that's one thing.
Like pause for a second. I would say like Bailey, him and his brother, they'll go out. It's not like they do an $80 million home or $20 million home or Calvin Harris's home or Madison Beer's home right out the gate, right? But they'll do that That's exciting.
Yes.
I get to go to New York City. I get to go to, like, imagine, like, that's the travel life you can live while filming real estate.
Yeah.
But it's like, you got to create that for yourself.
Exactly.
You know, could you reach out to real estate agents in Florida or something like that? Totally. Yep. I've actually had that idea, but I'm like, you know what? I got a lease here or whatever. Yep. Kind of stuck here. You know, is this the long-term play?
Yep.
No. Yeah. Like, you know, I think we kind of in the same boat. Like, you know, real estate shoots, they pay the bills. The creative projects are the really fun ones. Yes. But, you know, where you see that, I guess, sorry, continue, because I'm curious, like, where you see your stuff, because I kind of know where I want to head.
What the longest term goal would be, that would be, like, the ideal, like, would be to mix travel with
video.
So even if it was doing videos for resorts, if it was doing videos for different hotels along the Amalfi Coast in Italy, like, that would be, like, the pinnacle for me, because to mix one of my passions of travel, like me and my wife have, and a passion of creating with media, that would be it.
So if somebody said to you right now, or if you had the opportunity, which you do, I had this idea of, like, I wanted to, granted, I won't do it because I signed a lease for the studio, so I'm trapped here. But, like, hey, here's your hope, man. Yeah. I had the idea of emailing Airbnbs in Europe and saying, hey, for a free, like, 4 or 5 day stay, I will shoot content of your, like, shoot HDR photography of your Airbnb. I will shoot a video for your Airbnb. I will shoot a lifestyle video for your Airbnb. I will shoot a vlog and a review.
Yes.
And it's like, you get all that. Just give us, like, a week free.
Exactly. Yeah. Give us,
there's
like,
nothing stopping you from doing that
or something.
Especially, you say you love traveling, like, you go with your wife.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to work while you travel? I think, and I've had this conversation with clients, like some of my good friends, they'll say, like, well, why do you have to do that? Like, why don't you have the funds, just go and pay for it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I actually like doing that.
Yes. Exactly.
Right? What about you? Like, that would be
So that would even, like, if you, I wouldn't even, honestly, I wouldn't consider that work. If I was sitting, looking at the ocean and editing a video, like,
why would you
that's
complain?
Literally a no-brainer.
Or like a cappuccino shop, you're editing with your headphones in, and it's
literally,
like everybody's coming in and out, and you're in Rome, Italy.
You spend a couple hours editing, and then you go back to excursions. You go back to going out for lunch, and like that'd just be a no-brainer for me.
I used to think that the Sam Kohler lifestyle, you know Sam Kohler, everybody does.
Oh yeah,
every creative person does. I used to think that the Sam Kohler lifestyle was impossible. Yeah. You had to be 1 in a million.
Yeah.
That's not true anymore. No. I thought that 2 years ago, 5 years ago, a year ago even.
Yeah.
I have now realized that's so wrong to think, because it's not.
Yep.
You can so easily contact B&Bs, contact hotels, offer them free stuff, and in return, free nights.
Exactly.
Cost them nothing.
Yeah, it costs them nothing, and they're getting a ton of content for it. But then it's building your portfolio to then send to bigger hotels.
Like DJI, like Sam Kohler, and then get paid,
exactly.
$40,000 to do a whole 3-minute promo video traveling around the world while they have to pay for their expenses.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. I used to think that was impossible. Now it's like, if I really wanted to chase that opportunity, just like I think if you really want to chase that opportunity, we do it. Here's the problem. I think we're comfortable.
Yes. You get comfortable.
You know what I mean? Like, you get comfortable, you make, good amount of money a month. Like, as a video guy, you do. You get comfortable and you don't branch out anymore. Like, you branch out in this area. But it's like, one, I don't want to leave my clients here. Like, I love the people that I work with. Is there a median I can do, like, in between? I don't know. You know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, you definitely get comfortable. I think it takes a kick in the butt sometimes to push into those other avenues again. And it comes back to me, the reason why I even got into videography in the first place, and that was travel.
Yeah. I got to say, man, I think I kind of have the same story as you. Like, there's a reason I got into it. I want to be a YouTuber, right? Like, that's why I want to do it. And look at it now, just now, 5 years later, when I started my YouTube channel, like, pursuing now, just starting now to really pursue that dream of having some sort of influential profile on YouTube, on Instagram, building that following base. Now it's just coming to fruition. And like, I haven't seen any results from it. 22 subs. But now I'm starting to feel like we're working towards that goal. But it's 5 years in the making. And I think, like you said, it takes that kick in the butt. Guys like us who have we started with a goal in mind,
Yep.
I think it's easy to lose that. And sometimes I think, at least for me, I find myself losing that.
Yep.
And, you just got to get the next project done, get the next project done.
Yep.
So for anybody new listening, it's not all like rainbows and sunshine, like with what we do. Like we may have made it in terms of like video, like, yes, we get to do video, we get to create for a living, which is fantastic. We can pay our bills for a living just by making videos. That sounds pretty cool to say.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, it's like I said, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. We don't, we may have lost along the way why we want to do this, right? Nothing against real estate. I love shooting real estate. Real estate gave me my big jump. But, is it the long-term play 10 years from now? As much as I think my clients and your clients would want you to be in it 10 years from now, we're going to pursue what we genuinely find a passion in, and we got to go back to our roots. It's sometimes I have these realization moments where it's like, sometimes you forget.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I've had a recently sparked like creativity again, because I've had my last 3 realtors that I've kind of got close with. Yeah. A couple from Niagara, but they've just given me creative freedom with their homes. Yeah. Which it's not like you're coming in, you want the same generic. They're like, we don't want generic. I saw the one you did with Naomi. It was amazing. Like it was so I appreciate out there. Yeah. But it was like people wanted to watch. Yeah. It wasn't this basic listing. I had this conversation with a great realtor friend of mine who's also a client, and he said the same thing. Like, just I don't want to do these basic things anymore. Yeah. For sure. I think we're going to start to see a pivot, especially when the market slows down, and that's why I love doing those and getting those creative projects out there, right? Because to get your house out there and to get it noticed, you're going to need a hook, and your opening drone shot isn't going to cut it anymore. Houses aren't going to be flying like they used to, right? So having that retro style video I did for Naomi, or having that like horse one I did for Kim McKee, like those ones I think will stand out a lot. Yeah. So, but and it shows personality. I always say, like, for sure, you do the photos to sell the home. You do the video to sell you. That's like, what I say. Yeah, there's no reason to do a video showcasing the home. Yeah. Like, it's like I could make a photo, zoom in if I did a push and shot. Yes. You do the video to showcase you. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean, if you're doing a $20 million home, the home has its own personality. It speaks for itself, right? And Bailey knows that. Bailey's done a lot of that, right? He's able to look at that and say, yeah, this home can genuinely speak for itself. I don't need any person in this video. For sure. But, homes like around here, like even if they're like 5,000 square feet, in reality, a lot of people can look at a 5,000 square foot home and say, like, yeah, it's nice, but it's not like this human being in itself, right? Those are the huge homes out in Bel Air and stuff like that. But here, you sell you. Exactly. That's what I tell them. I'm like, anytime they don't want to hop on camera, I'm like, listen, as much as you think this is to sell your home, it's to sell you. It's a piece of social media content for you. You're getting your face out there, and like, it's literally to market you. Yeah. Like, people watch the video and be like, oh, that's a really nice home. They're still going to come see the home. They need to come see the home, unless they're from Toronto and whatever, they want to just buy it on spot. But like, they're still going to have to come see the home. Yeah. It's to market you. It's to get your name out there. It's to get your brand out there. It's to show what you look like. It's to show how you're presenting the home. It's to show your passion for that home, for your craft, for real estate, right? So. No, I could not agree more. And I think that's like, if any real estate agents are still listening and haven't gotten bored by the media talk, like, try to find ways of allowing us to get a little bit more out there, because when you give somebody creative freedom, they will do a way better job. 100%. Because they can do it their way. And, you hire somebody, like I always say, like, I remember talking to Jordan, and like Jordan wanted to do like a podcast with me. Right. And I was like, yeah, like totally do a podcast, then he's like, yeah, I use Tomass for all like the listing stuff. Yeah. Tomass is great at that. I love his creative style. I love your creative style with podcasts. Yep. Boom. Yeah. You hire somebody, and I say that because you hire somebody for their creative style. Absolutely. I'm not better than you. You're not better than me, right? It's totally different. It's just style. We just think differently. Now, we might have the exact same stories and how we started our business and probably live the same life. Literally. Sounds like. Yeah. But like parallel lives. Right? Exactly. But we have different creative styles. Like when I watch your video, it's not like mine. When you watch my video, it's not like yours. There's different ways of people can interpret things, right? Exactly. And that's why you get hired for jobs. That's why you can charge the amount that you do. That's why you can work with the people that you do. That's why people want to work with you.
I've even looked at sometimes, like some of my biggest, highest net worth clients, like super high net worth. I'm like, I don't know why you hired me. Like, I'm thinking in my head, like, I got to be honest. I don't know why. I'm not like, Sam Kohler out here, they love my creative style, energy. It really is just a symbol of who you are. 100%. And that's why I say when I hear like media companies saying systemize processes and, outsource and work with these people. And man, no. I didn't start that business for that. 2, I didn't start it to make, I did start it to make money, obviously, but my morals have completely changed in terms of just now I want to build relationships. For sure. Money pays the bills. Number 3 is, why would I want to systemize something? That means I'm just in it for the money. And, I'm just wanting to do it for, just making money. And then why would you want to hire somebody that's just in it to make money? And
they don't care about you and your content. It's really just about pumping out something for you to post. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. So I totally get that. And I think, like, in saying this, the biggest thing for anyone starting up, please don't compare yourself to anyone. I
remember looking at, so you might have done it. I remember looking at Bailey stuff. Yeah. When I first started, and I was like, it's like, damn. The reason I worked for Bailey for like a month. Yeah. You know why?
We both work.
You know why I applied for that job? Yeah. It wasn't to make money. It wasn't to get what he pays us. Yeah. It was literally just to learn and to meet the guy. And now like we're good friends, right? Yeah. Both of us, which I find so funny. For sure. Because he's friends with like Terrence too. And Terrence worked with him back when he started. Yeah. I find it so funny. But in reality, you say yes to opportunities and try to learn. Don't be intimidated. Granted, it's hard. Like when you see guys doing like LPG or Drone Hub or, like West Black Frame, right? It's hard not to compare yourself because they do such incredible work. Yeah. But everybody has their own creative style. Yeah. You'll never look at yours and be like, oh my God, I'm so amazing. Yeah. Right? You'll always look at everybody else and be like, oh my God, that's so amazing. Yeah. But you'll never look at yours and say that. Yeah. But other people will. So allow people to say, that's a great video. Yeah. Don't say it's crap. Yeah. I like what you said there. You made a really good point.
And so when I'm done a video and I'm done editing and I watch it over, you probably do the same, but I watch it over so many times, and like the first couple times I watch it, I'm like, wow. I'm like, I like that. I'm proud of it. And then by the 10th time, you're like, man, I don't like it. Like,
it got old.
Yeah, but you're like, you still need to post, you still need to give it away. But then I take those moments and I think, next time, how will I make that better? Even though like my wife, whoever I send it off to, they're like, wow, that was great. Like that was like, you keep getting better. How do you keep getting better? Like I've been in this for a year. I started editing a year ago. Yeah. Premiere Pro the first time I opened it up.
That's crazy, man.
So I'm literally constantly learning and constantly trying to get better, and I beat myself up more than anyone else beats me up.
And what I like is when somebody hires somebody like that, it's good. Yeah. Because like you have this type of self-confidence to you that you're not going to beat yourself to the ground, but you will beat yourself up to do a better job.
Exactly.
And that is somebody you want to hire. That's somebody you want to work with. Yep. So with that being said, we're running on, but this is great, Tomas. With that being said, I said this at the beginning, but just again, how can people reach you if they want to hire you to do any work? How can people reach you?
So social media, it's TDrone Media, at TDrone Media, and same with my Facebook.
Fantastic. Yep. And I'm sure if you guys have any Airbnbs, me and Tomas will shoot them for free if you just give us like a couple free nights.
Yeah, 100% be the best video you've ever had.
I actually just got a client. They have an Airbnb like 5 minutes from Holiday Valley. Yeah. Shout out to Courtney Todd and John Schwenker, but they were like, like I filmed the video for them, did a great job. Yeah. And now I'm going to the Airbnb for 3 nights.
That's sweet.
And with some of my buddies. And then I just go back and I film a video for them for free. Right. Perfect. So, opportunities open doors and you get to say yes. Yeah. I love it. Awesome. So anybody listening, thank you so much. I hope you really got a lot out of this conversation. If you want to reach out, ask us for any advice, reach out. Vision Lux. It's just Vision LUXX. On Instagram, that's my company name. TDrone Media is Tomas's. Feel free to ask us any questions. Tomas answers DMs because he answered mine from Mealy Media a year ago when this podcast is being launched. So with all that being said, hope you enjoyed. You can find us on all Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all the different platforms. And we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers. Thank you for listening to this week's Golden Guest on the Meeting Gold podcast. If you learned something from today's episode, make sure to check out our other content on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, and YouTube. Also, make sure to leave us a follow while you're there. Thanks, and have a golden day.